guys, it's Grant's Comics here, and today we'll be reviewing a special issue that I got, and it is Amazing Spider-Man 41. This is the first appearance of the Rhino, and this is from 1966, and I got this. Before I get into how I got this, I'm just gonna tell you the story, and obviously what I always do is the condition. So first, the story is basically I'm not gonna tell the whole story. I'm just gonna say J. Jonah Jameson's son gets back from NASA. He was on a mission, and he had to get contaminated, or in a contamination box or whatever you call that, because he was infected with spores. So they had to keep him in for like 6 months when he was in space, and he finally came back to Earth 6 months later. He told his dad, who is J. Jonah Jameson, that about all the stories, and I believe in the very first Spider-Man issue, that was in 1963 with the Fantastic Four. That's the first appearance of all the other characters like Betty Brant, J. Jonah Jameson, the son, and stuff like that. So he's basically telling that story from that issue, from the very first issue, because like I said, this is from 1966. So that's really old. But anyways, he tells the story, and he still 41 or 40 issues in the Amazing Spider-Man issues, J. Jonah Jameson is still not convinced that Spider-Man is a hero. He still is a menace to him. And how old is Spider-Man? 52? 52 years later, J. Jonah Jameson still thinks Spider-Man is a menace. I don't think, as long as Spider-Man has been around, and as long as Spider-Man will be around, regardless if comics become popular or become popular or not, regardless, J. Jonah Jameson is always going to hate Spider-Man regardless, which is okay, you know. But anyway, so yeah, the son tells J. Jonah Jameson about how Spider-Man saved him during the NASA spiel, and how he had space spores on him, so he had to stay in contamination for 6 months, stuff like that. And then the first time you see the Rhino, he is in this desert, and these patrol officers see him from a distance, because Rhino is Russian. If you guys don't know his origin story, Rhino is like Russian. He was I think he was like a military person, and he got into a freak accident. He basically, like RoboCop, how RoboCop lost his body. He basically had a burnt body, and I don't know. I have to find his origin story, but yeah, this is his whole suit. So they have to remake the Rhino, and they have to make him into this hard shell with rhino horns. And he, instead of being a superhero, obviously he became a supervillain. So in his first appearance, he tries to escape, and he tries to enter the United States, and he literally rams through the border officers. They try to shoot him. The shells, or at this era, the 60s, they were called slugs or something, but what they're referring to is bullets. Cause I think this was, let me see, this has the comics code on it. Wait, hold on, let me see if you guys can see. Yeah, this one has the comics code. I don't know why they didn't say bullets instead of slugs. Anyways, yeah, the bullets were bouncing on his body, because his whole body is basically hard and like steel, kind of like a rhino skin. So they try to shoot him numerous times at the borderline, and when Spider-Man is trying to fight the Rhino, they still try to shoot him. Spider-Man tries to knock him down. Like he tries to tackle Rhino, but he ends up getting hurt. He breaks his arm, and then he gets very Spider-Man gets really cocky. He's like, oh, you may be strong, but my speed can beat you, blah blah. He does all these speeds. He tries to web Rhino, and obviously Rhino being Rhino the character, he breaks, breaks through the webs and stuff. And Spider-Man makes a joke where he's like, oh, the webbing is expensive and stuff like that, kind of like a joke. But in reality, Spider-Man made the web shooters. Maybe it is expensive because the material that he made the web shooters in is expensive. I don't know, but yeah, he did that, and he finally. So the only way that Spider-Man could beat the Rhino, it was to tire him out. So he did, and Rhino gets tired out and he falls to the ground, and just in time the cops come and arrests him and stuff like that. So the main reason why the Rhino did what the Rhino did was because he wanted J. Jonah Jameson's son not to, kill him or kidnap him. He basically wanted J. Jonah Jameson's son for money, basically. He wanted to bring J. Jonah Jameson's son into Russia and give the Russian people, give it to him alive, and the Russian people basically pays him millions. That's what the Rhino's whole thing was about. Which even, here's the thing. Back in the 60s, regardless, kidnapping people is messed up either way, no matter what era it was. But during the 60s, throughout maybe the early days of comics, writers had the balls to literally write whatever they had few standards, but storytelling wise, they had the balls to write whatever they want to say. Versus if Marvel or DC or Image Comics, any comic distributor at all, wrote a story about kidnapping, like how ASM 41 did with J. Jonah Jameson's son, that people nowadays would be like, wow, this is wrong. Why the heck is this even out? It would be a controversy issue if that was to happen again. If this was to happen in this time of age, in 2021. But yeah, and the one thing I want to say before I begin to the conditions and my story behind this book of how I got it. So obviously, if you guys are comic book fans or Spider-Man fans, you guys know that Mary Jane's first full appearance is in Amazing Spider-Man 43. This is the first mention of Mary Jane, because Mary Jane's auntie is friends with Aunt May, who's obviously Peter Parker's auntie. They are good friends, and in a couple of issues, Anna Watson kind of mentions, kind of says, you and Peter should come to my house one day and we should have dinner on Sunday night. So they're like, oh yeah, okay. And Anna Watson tells Peter, oh, you can finally meet my niece, Mary Jane Watson. And then Peter looks at Aunt May like, oh man, I hope she's pretty and stuff, because from Amazing Spider-Man 1 all the way through the 60s, 70s, or all the way through when Peter Parker and Mary Jane actually start dating, Peter Parker basically dates Gwen Stacy until Gwen Stacy passes away from the Green Goblin. But in the really, really early runs, like Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way till even here, Peter Parker has a crush on Betty Brant, that's Betty Brant's, Peter Parker's first crush was Betty Brant, who was working for the Daily Bugle, stuff like that. But in this issue, she's on a trip, So you didn't really see her as much. You kind of saw her in the middle of the issue, but after that, that's it. So, anyways, but yeah, this is the first mention of Mary Jane. Um, uh, Amazing Spider-Man 42 is Mary Jane's cameo, first cameo. You can the story behind Amazing Spider-Man 42 story is that towards the end of that issue, you can see like her silhouette, or you can see her shadow towards the end of the issue. But that's it. You can't really see much of her until you read Spider-Man 43, which is her first full appearance. And so yeah, 41, Amazing Spider-Man 41, 42. So Amazing Spider-Man 41 is the first mention. This is her first mention, the first mention of Mary Jane. Amazing Spider-Man 42 is Mary Jane's first cameo appearance. Amazing Spider-Man 43 is Mary Jane's first full appearance. So if you guys ever want the Mary Jane saga, if you guys are fans of Mary Jane Watson and stuff like that, then this is where you kind of want to get started. If you want her, this is where you kind of want to get started, because this is her first mention. And then if you guys want to have her, like, see her, you have to get Amazing Spider-Man 42. And if you want to see her for first full appearance, is Amazing Spider-Man 43. And it's simple. So now we're just gonna go into the condition. Then after we'll talk about the story of how I got this story. So far, obviously it's from the 60s. So I expect really not that good results. So first thing, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a line right by the Rhino's fist, right there. You can kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see what else. The spine I can feel is kind of raggy. There's like a, let's see what else I can find. Oh yeah, there's a little corner tab right there. Back side, let's see the back side. This is where this is like dog ear, which is I'm not too mad about. And there's like a little corner right there. I don't know how well you guys can see that. And then there is like just minor like stuff. Here's like a dog ear over here. There's like a little stuff on the bottom. It was like it was dirty. The sides is just the corners. It's not too bad. Let's see what else. Inside there's like a check mark. I don't know. I don't want to break it. There's like a check mark over here. So, there's a dog ear right in this page. If you guys can see that right over. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's like a little right there. There's a dog ear right there. I gotta fix that. But so out of all, I got this. I went to my local LCS and they told me that, or the owner told me that it might it might come in 4.0, which I'm fine about. Like I said before, my other reviews, I don't care if there's like about the corners and stuff. I just care about the only. I don't like water resistance. That's the one thing. If this had like lumps on it, like water residue and stuff, I would have been like, okay, that sucks. But if it has like stuff like this, like folds, I'm fine with that, and I kind of expect that from a comic that's from the 60s. But anyways, it's a very good issue. Oh, and right here, you can see it right here. I don't know if you can see because it's right there. I don't know if you can see a little tear. But anyways, now I'm going to tell you how I got this issue. So this issue I got from my friend Tony, which I mentioned so many times in my videos. So shout out to him. It was my it was my birthday on February, and we went to my local LCS because I wanted to grade my comics, and that comic, that 161, that's one of them that I wanted to grade, and he said that one is gonna be an 8.5. And then I had Web of Spider-Man, which is over there. You guys can see that green right over there. I wanted that. Sorry, I'm sneezing so much. But yeah, the Web of Spider-Man 100, which is that green Spider-Man with the silver by the Justin Bieber pop. Right over there. Right there. Where my finger is. I wanted to get that CGC, but he said that's really pointless to put that CGC. But he said, like, Web of Spider-Man is not valued to anything, so I'm not gonna CGC Web of Spider-Man 100, even though it's the first Spider armor. I'm still not gonna CGC it, but I will CGC my Amazing Spider-Man 361, and I'm definitely gonna CGC this. So but yeah. So anyway, the story. While I was doing that, me and my friend Tony saw this on the rack, and it was a lot of money. I'm not gonna say how much because you guys are like, oh my god, you paid this much. You guys are gonna be crazy, so I'm not gonna say how much it is. But Tony got it for me, and I was side-eyeing him. I was like, what the heck? He's buying this. So I was playing coy. I was like, oh, congratulations, man. You got an awesome key comic, stuff like that. That's very congratulations. Then he goes like this. It's on the counter, right? It's like this on the counter. It's already paid for. He turns around and he goes like this to me. Happy birthday. And I'm just like, dude, that's crazy. So yeah, this is very cool. I'm very appreciative of that I got this, because he is very kind and very generous. He did a AOK act of kindness, and it was just awesome. Like, other than that issue right there, which was my grail, this gotta be the best comic. I'll cherish this comic forever till I'm gone on this earth. I'll cherish this issue forever, as well as my other collection I got. So if you're watching this, Tony, Tony, if you watched this video all the way through the end, thank you for not only giving me one of the best birthday presents that I ever gotten, but just for being my friend, being my homie, stuff like that. But anyways, that's all for now. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Alright.